Yes, thank you. We are here and we are of service once again to be able to help you navigate through your perception of what's been happening on this planet to give you the biggest perspective that we can offer you. We are the Arcturian Collective, who are of great assistance to be able to help. We have often and always been very great supporters and loyalists of the Palladians. We have helped for generations upon generations, not just this planet, but many other planets. So, of course, we are willing to be of service to be able to help with this communication with you today, Erin.
Hello, thank you for joining me here, and I'm excited to talk to you again. Joe and I are trying to figure out what's going on, as always. And there were a few videos and pictures that I had questions about. The first one was there were videos of what they call lightning, but it looks like a camera flash in the sky, and we were wondering what that was.
Yes, it is. There is some magnetic electrical currents that are in your sky, and they are being perceived as flashes of light. This is static. This is when you brush your hair and you can feel the fizzle and the crackling. It is the higher frequency energy that is being emitted from the planet and then interacting with the high frequency of the energy that is being put into your atmosphere. So it is a lightning effect. It is not a camera flash effect, even though there is many of those technical, shall we say, illusions and effects that people have captured on their digital cameras that they have thought with great wonderment and amusement and curiosity that there is something bigger. Of course, there is much more bigger than what you can perceive with your natural naked eye and what the camera systems that you have in your 3D physical world, what it can also capture. So it is partly magical to excite and encourage and spark many many people's hopes that there is something much more going on. These people are often calling for proof, and so they get given this magical excitement within their photography. Most of it really is just the lens translating light as its focal point is set to wide aperture. It is a fixed lens when you are using digital cameras, but it is capturing everything in sharpness, and so it is photography tricks, but it is exciting for those who see it. But this one that you are referencing is static. That is built up. It is similar but not the same as lightning.
Interesting. There was a video taken in Turkey, what they called rocket debris, and the sky lit up green. What was that?
That was someone trying to exit the planet and did not succeed.
Oh, well, thank you for the light show, I guess. um, Another video we saw, very exciting and hard to understand, is a video with two different suns. This was taken in Florida yesterday, I believe.
It is not what we would say as suns. One is your what you label as sun, and the other one that we would label is a distant. We want to say you could say it's a planet, but it actually is a ship, and you could call it Nibiru, but it's not what we would refer it to. So it is paused and waiting, and those people who are seeing it, who need to see it, this is their homecoming. This is where they will shift to. It is a three-dimensional system structure. People who are longing to go home don't resonate with the information about the new earth, but something else. They will use the word Nibiru and the red planet, and this is it. This is showing them, this is the sign that they needed to know to be activated. It is a different collective. We're going to say it is a different collective that calls that red sun, that other sun, their home. But then there is, it is not just one collective. It is a bunch. It is a collective of collectives. It is a collection of collectives that call it home for whatever reason they have found themselves on that ship, on that planet, whatever you need to label it as. They've called that home for various reasons. Sometimes they've wanted to explore different experiences, but this is where they will be going. So they innately know that it is true. They innately know that they're going to move there, even though they can't understand how, why, or when. So this is something that was to activate them, to let them know it is time. There is many. We understand that lots of our starseeds have devout faith in many religions and devout beliefs in many perspectives of what is happening, and we are of service to be able to provide all of those belief systems, the indicator and the signs for the changes that are going to take place. And so within each collective, you still have starseeds with different ways of life, different countries, different beliefs, different habits, different hobbies, different interests, and we are trying to communicate with them all. And so for those collections of collectives that are connected to that ship, to that planet, whatever you need to call it, and we will refer back to that video that you saw, that is them being activated to let them know it is time to wrap up things here.
Wow. Is it only visible at certain hours of the day to certain people, or how is it visible?
It is only visible for those who are we want to say the leaders of those collectives. So they are sharing. Those people who are interested and believe in this are finding like-minded groups on Facebook, and they are connecting because they're wanting to be triggered into memories. So this is special for them. And if you believe it, chances are you're going there. If you resonate with that, you're going there. And so this was those people who awoken to the red planet first were the founding members, shall we say, here now to awaken those who need to be awoken, because they're going to have their own simulations and their own experiences. It is important for them to have. We want to say that like how reptilians can't shift to the fifth dimension, New Earth, because it is not their purpose to do that as such. The people who are going to this other new destination want to support those, so they've woken up first to this destination. Again, we say this and it sounds redundant at this point. All is purposeful, all is important, and those who are awakening up to this red planet to understand this 3D shift to this planet, to this, we want to say it's a ship, it is a big ship, and it may look circular to you here on this time, but when you get up close it is somewhat different. There is much more to it, but the sun is illuminating it. We are wanting to say that only the leaders will be seeing this with their naked eyes. It's confirmation for them to be triggered to have their activations for awakening. They have been able to capture it because it's a light property that is reflecting off the planet of the ship, but you cannot see the details of it. You can merely see the presence of the reflection of the light.
Wow. Nibiru is brought up a lot. I was always under the impression it's because it's ominous. No one really knows. Some people call Nibiru New Earth. Can you clarify that?
Yes, well, that's what we have just been saying. Some collectives will go to this 3D planet. It's a ship. We're going to just say the reason why we keep jumping backwards and forwards from saying it's a planet and a ship and it's a planet and a ship, their original planet that was stationary, that was growing and evolving, was destroyed. So then it was, before it was destroyed, they wanted to have a big, large generational ship. So then they could transfer. They knew their planet was not sustainable anymore. They knew that there was wars and struggles, and they needed to be able to have another option that was going to take them. They wanted to be more fifth dimensional, but it was still part of their experiences to master the third. So, of course, for those who are going to Nibiru, the ship, which was named after their beloved planet, you can understand and see the references now and why it has evolved. They were transported off, evacuated off. Some did not survive. Some did not want to believe that their planet was at such dire straits. Can you understand now the link between what is happening to them this lifetime? So they did not like that. They did not like to be shocked when they suffered the same consequence as that destructive and destroyed planet. So they have awoken up now. They know that they're moving to that ship, Nibiru, now, this lifetime. They did not want to make the same mistake again and be surprised. So they are here to correct and to be able to support those. They wish they had the right support. They wish they had been listened to and supported. And so this is what the leaders who are trying to tell everyone about the Nibiru and the shift there, they are finding just as much struggle as those who are telling others about the new earth and that being a planet. And so we are grateful, very grateful for this conversation today, because it has made people curious why we have not referred to the new earth as Nibiru before. And we're saying now we've been able to explain it. So thank you for this line of questioning. We are grateful, and those collections of collectives are also coming in and saying thank you, because this was hard for their star seeds that they're supporting, who know the truth about Nibiru and who know they're going. And so they have not had us share the information, and now we have helped them. And so there is great celebration for them to hear our confirmation today.
Would they like to add anything else?
We love you.
For their starseeds.
We love you, we love you, we love you. You're not insane, you're not crazy. You know that you're going to this planet and you're longing for this planet because you've had so many lifetimes here on that planet. And they're saying that this planet, this earth that you're on, was just a stepping stone for you to see and remind yourself of different scenarios of the destructions of planets. And so it is very purposeful why you're here, very purposeful why you remember home, very purposeful why you are longing for Nibiru. This is why we needed to keep the same name for our ship, because you needed to remember your home.
Wow. Thank you. That was beautiful.
It has the same frequency. Regardless of whether it's the ship or the planet, it still has the same frequency and memory and triggering and the vibrations. And so we're saying that we can't wait for you to come home.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Speaking of going home, we're aware that there are ships in the sky, and unfortunately we can't see them. we were wondering how many approximately are in the sky right now.
Many have come to watch and witness, so this is a great show. So many who are just observing, they're learning as well. They knew that there was this chaos and this event of upliftment and involvement, and so they're wanting to see it, shall we say, in real time rather than catching it on catching it on the galactic news. And so there is many that are observing, so they're not interfering with anyone's free will. They may have some. It's very significant who's on this planet right now, and there may be, or there is, there's no doubt about it, there is a certain people who are living on this planet right now who do not have a big collective. So there is just some smaller ships with their support crew, and when the shift is happening, they will be uplifted to their own private ships, shall we say. Some collectives just have one or two people or beings or animals that are here that are just experiencing it because they wanted to at this time. They love to experience the destructions and the ends of times. It sounds strange, but this is what many want to explore and learn from. So this is there is many like that. So there's many that are observing, and of course there is some, shall we say, there are some people who are going home to their home planets, and they have their own ships waiting for them. So there's many more different groups in the numbers. So it is not just one big ship that's coming. There is, we want to say, hundreds of thousands that are just of witnessing and exploring this, because they're very curious about it, because they need to also learn how to help and support other 3D planets, because this is a big deal. This is there is always the aging of planets, but because this one has eroded away so quickly, and there has been so much trauma associated with other planets that have been eradicated either through war or something else. So we know for many who are observing and learning from this, they need to be of assistance to support others that are on a slower path of destruction, regardless of whether it's their natural cycles or something else. So there is much going on, and this is why we keep saying you're not alone. You're not alone. And we just want to say, while we do not dive into the density of the 3D emotions, when we see you all struggling and suffering, holding on to the 3D emotions and dealing with the corrupt systems, dealing with all of the very challenging experiences here, and you're feeling distraught and disempowered and scared and alone, and you feel like nothing makes sense and your whole life is upside down, it is hard for us to see you like that, and we just want to keep supporting you. And this is why we keep saying, connect in with us. Know we're here. Know we're here. We're watching you. And while we understand it from the bigger perspective, always, that soon you're going to be able to learn the bigger perspective yourselves as well, and be reminded of it. When you're going through these lives and they feel very real, very important, it is hard for us to love you so much, torturing yourselves with your limited mindsets of fear and worry, and not remembering who you are. So while we understand you having great growth and its experiences that you will remember forever, it's quite painful for us to watch. We could say it is like watching someone give birth and be incredibly distraught for years on end, and they're exhausted and crying, and it is just it's raw. We love you all so much, and we see all your rawness, all your struggles, all of your challenges. And when you're stuck, it's so hard for us because we understand that you're still struggling to overcome and empower yourselves. And this is why we love you. We're trying to give you more signs and more encouragements and more help and support always. But when you're hurt and you're not working through those hurts, you can't connect in with us because you're so reactionary, you're so reactive to the pain. And we're saying, feel that pain, but then empower yourself to know the bigger purpose and principles and lessons for it. The pain that you're feeling does not need to keep being felt while you're going through your inner work and processing it, understanding the purpose, the significance, the importance, the lessons, and the experiences that you needed to feel that pain. Don't have to hold on to that pain. Know what that pain feels like, tastes like, senses like, and then move away from it. You don't need to keep holding your hand over the fire to know that it is burning you. You can let go of the hand over the fire to be able to observe and learn that you don't need to keep doing it again, and then using that fire to make heat and make warmth and to prepare food and to use it to your advantage without burning yourself from it. Learning how to navigate your pain or the triggers or the experiences and making good. We're saying you can make lemonade out of lemons, and so we want to use that analogy of the flame. Instead of letting it burn you, allow it to work for you. Instead of it burning your skin, make it cook for you, heat you, keep you warm and protected. Can you see the analogies we're using here?
I love your analogies. That was a great one. Yet again, thank you. A few days ago, DJT tweeted, "Can you feel the shift?"
He did indeed. He did.
That made me jump out of my skin because I got so excited. But can you explain why he said that?
It is the excitement of change, the information that is pouring out, the more people that are starting to awaken up to so much. The shift of mindsets, the shift of physical senses, everything's shifting, everything's changing. And only those people who are refusing to notice or who cannot notice because they are going to stay on the old earth, they will not be able to sense the changes or see any changes. The shift is change. There is so much. This is why we have said that there is going to be many shifts before the bigger one. And this is one of them. Shift of consciousness, awareness, shift of information, shift of power. There is so much to that word shift. And everyone can sense it truly. That is making people frazzled and worried and concerned. When you have power, manipulation, and control, you do not want change. Nothing is more scary to people who need to manipulate and control others when they sense change. That is the worst case scenario for them. They want to grow. They want to grow their control. Change is not on their side for growth right now. They are actually declining in growth. They are being greatly disempowered themselves and put on the back foot. So there is many shifts, and it's all very, very, very positive for our collective and all those other collectives that need liberation and empowerment when they have had barely any for a long time here on this planet.
I keep waiting for the first domino to fall, and I keep getting faked out. Are we almost there?
We're saying that you've been surrounded by dominoes and they have been clickering and clattering along. But it is behind the scenes, but you've already got all your dominoes falling down. You've already seen the patterns. You've already seen so much of the domino effect. So you're waiting for the domino effect for everyone to shake in those.
Yeah, at least where they can not deny it any longer.
Well, those people who are still with much love, not wanting to see the domino collapsing, they're still needing to buy into the narrative. But for those people who need to buy into the narrative because they need to stay on their old earth, they will continue on that way. For those people who want to try and keep up with that narrative, but they're not supposed to hold on to that, and they have supposed to have let go of that for a very, very, very long time, they will get the bigger shaking up, and it will be either physically or emotionally, through either the impact of the natural disasters, and also the information disclosures. So they are going to have more and more and more. Remembering we're not supposed to trigger them. We don't want them to be fully triggered. That would be the hardest thing, because the first thing that people, when they find out and they're awoken, while they're in shock and disbelief, they also have this backlash of frustration on themselves that they didn't see it earlier. And so that then disempowers them and it brings their vibrations down, because they feel bad and foolish and silly. And so it is like how we used to say about the emperor's clothing. Everyone who has awoken at some point have found that they have been the emperor, and they are naked of their information. They assumed that they were fully clothed and going with the stream, and now they are realizing they're vulnerable because the information that they have based their belief systems on being fully clothed and aware and awoken to the truth, they suddenly realize they're quite vulnerable. Their bottom is hanging out and people can stare. And they're embarrassed because they have always thought that they were quite confident with their fancy garments. And now they've realized they have been strutting their stuff and they've actually been naked.
Yeah. Yep. I know that feeling. I understand. So speaking of the narrative, Joe and I are still trying to piece together how the Anunnaki are playing into current events, because we both feel as though the reptilians have been scapegoated unfairly. And we were wondering what part the Anunnaki are playing currently, and if you could show Joe who the Anunnaki are that are still on this earth involved in interfering with earthly events.
Yes. So we have seen, yes, we are showing her one being who is no longer actually alive, but he did sneak in, and they did try to make a comeback and be born again, be as in star seeds. So they had some star seeds come in and were given more information. So they have been the ones that have really amped up the technology of certain social media platforms. So that was him, and there have been a few attempts to come back here to control. The vehicle is saying all of the pieces are making sense from this now. So it was very interesting. So they have come in to try and manipulate and control again without being what looks like the warlord leaders. They've learnt from that approach last time. So this time they did it subtly. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Are many people remembering lifetimes when that happened? Because that is also a popular narrative or theory that the Anunnaki are returning to control us again.
Well, the Anunnaki have been mischief. Have say mischief, and that sounds like judgment, but they have impacted many different planets, and including this one. And so those people who are very, very, very scared of the Anunnaki potentially are being triggered to be reminded of other oppressions and that they have experienced in other lifetimes. May not even be the Anunnaki, but it is about them having memories of oppression. So, there are many ways that people have been, and beings have been oppressed by others. And so, yes, the fear of the Anunnaki does ring true to many. And ironically, it can be Anunnaki starseeds themselves that have distant memories of how they would manipulate each other. So there is much going on there. So you must be able to remember that there is karma. There is that experiencing the other side of it. And if you have been, shall we say, for the dramatics of this conversation, if you have been a warlord in one place and then you reincarnate to experience it, of course you're going to be afraid of your warlord behavior because you knew how brutal you were. And so it's kind of, you know the flip side of power and control and manipulation, how it is absent of compassion and consideration for you and of you. And so even if the Anunnaki, and we're saying they are not coming back to this planet, but in the way that they were planning to, but if you have karma to experience being afraid of being dominated again by the Anunnaki, just that fear alone is making you experience and overcome that karma. So you won't necessarily actually have to physically experience that to it to be adjusted. You have to just relive it and have that fear, because then you're paying back your karma that way. Do we explain it well?
Yeah, you just blew my mind. So these theories that people have that seem really off the wall are actually extremely purposeful.
Yes, and so those people who are afraid of vaccinations, as rightfully so, that there is another agenda there. Some of those big, strong voices were the perpetrators of vaccinations in other lifetimes. So remember, if you have disempowered others from one agenda, one lifetime, the way that you experience the flip side of that is being on the flip side of that. So remembering you don't need to physically have the impact of what you're afraid of, learning the lessons and feeling those feelings, because remember, it's a feeling. 3D is about experiencing the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions that go with mindsets. It's not always about creating those realities. You don't need to have the reaction of the inoculations to be able to feel and worry about that. So we're using and giving you the opportunities to experience it with your worried mindsets versus actually physically experiencing it.
Wow. Wow. I see what you mean.
You've created your reality of being in fear and afraid and disempowered of that scenario, even though we know that we're not going to, for many people, that if they were forced to have that, their fears would not be eventuated, because there is a different purpose we need the bodies to be doing right now. So unless it's a life contract. So you can see that that sometimes people's fear-based experiences is an opportunity for them to overcome that and learn from that. But it is purposeful. If people need to spend their whole lives in fear from being tortured, potentially that is their contract, to always feel tortured because of the things they've done in other lifetimes. So we're not saying to not do your inner work if you feel tortured because you're paying back karma, but it would be impossible almost for you, because you need to do that. You need to be that, having that experience. And so it is peculiar. People would question, why on earth would someone want to have a full life contract of torture? And we say, because it is part of your experience that you've wanted to endure. Having a balanced, beautiful life with no problems and no worries, full of love and happiness and joy, potentially you've all had those amazing lifetimes. So why keep doing them again and again and again? You're so much more advanced. You want these harder challenges to really master them. And so it's very purposeful.
Wow. Um, I was wondering what was occurring on New Earth right now.
Balance, harmony, vibrationally blessed. It's like what is happening on there now is just radiating such profound peace of mind, and there is so much there. It's there's lack of words, but it is such a high vibrational place. It zings. It has this frequency about it which is just overwhelming joy and protection and love and inspiration. There's so much vigor. There is so much. It is. There is so much emotions to express, but then there is no words to express it. It is hard to translate it, but it is. It is like the first feeling you have when you wake up and you know you've got a very exciting day ahead of you. A very exciting day. The best exciting day you ever had. That very first moment of, this is it, this is the day. And that joy, and you just want to leap out of bed and seize the day and take every moment in because you've been waiting for it so long. That is what it feels like. All of the moments there. It is just great anticipation of everything amazing happening. It sounds ridiculous and nonsensical to have such a profound, exciting place. And then now people are saying, well, it sounds kind of boring if it's always amazing. But it's actually not boring when it's absolutely so amazing, because it's always encouraging you and inspiring you, and you don't have any fears and you're not holding yourself back. So you're actually thirsty and excited to learn new things and explore new things and master new things. And you actually have a wonderment and excitement and motivation and curiosity, and there is nothing holding you back from being stagnant and isolated and depressed and dense. So it is chipper. It is very exciting. So we understand that you were probably wanting more different information, but we're trying to paint the picture of how energetically you feel super excited and very, very enthusiastic, shall we say, jazz hands immensely.
Awesome. Thank you. It sounds amazing. My heart loves it. So as corny as it may sound, it just makes me so happy. So thank you. Are there soul family members that are gathered there right now awaiting their soul family incarnated on Earth to meet them there? Did I say that right?
We say not really, because there's no need for them yet. They're actually more here closer to you, supporting you that way and watching and supporting. So they're not at the destination, they're along the journey with you.
So potentially they're in the sky watching us.
Yes.
That's exciting. I learned in one of the sessions I listened to today that there are different speeds at which the ships will get to New Earth. And I thought that would be a good thing to bring up in this session to explain the different speeds and the reasons why people would arrive at different times. Could you go over that quickly?
Yes, this they can speed at the same rate, but you will not be delivered to the new earth until you're ready. So that's the speed of your growth and evolution. When you have released the density and healed, you're in a sleep-like state while you're expanding and healing and releasing. So it is like dreams. And so there is needing to be preparation for those adjustments. We're acclimatizing your energy and your mindsets and expanding them on those ships. And so the ships can all arrive really on the new earth at the same time, but you will not be delivered until you're ready. And that's the difference. But there are different ships leaving different placements from this planet and different times. So it is a convoy. There is lots going on there, but you will not arrive on the new earth until you are ready, and that is physically and emotionally ready. There is adjustments. Once you realize the wonderment and the excitement and the frequency vibration of new earth, you're so grateful to be there. But when you reflect back on what you did incur, you loved your life on this planet, but you see it from the density and it puts a bad taste in your mouth. And not physically, but when you think about your life here, it has a different feel to it because you're aware of that immense density and you realize how challenging it's been more so. And so that's the adjustment. You don't adjust to the amazement of new earth, you adjust to what you've experienced, and that is the stepping stone. That is the hard part.
And that's where a lot of the light workers will be stepping in, like myself. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, because it needs to be given to the bigger perspective of lessons. Yes, it was purposeful. Yes, yes, yes. And it's comforting them. But they've never been able to look and they can't see. You can't see how dense it is here. And so it is. There's so much, you're so connected and emotionally attached to this life. And then when you're there and you're reflecting back, you still are, but you have more perspective and it's there's a lot, there's so much emotions and layers to it, but it surprises many. So it is, you have that bigger perspective, you know that you enjoy the frequency of the fifth dimension, and having that mindset, but it takes some time to lag, it takes some time to adjust to it, but not that much. But then as soon as you can sort of make peace with it, then you are wanting to be so motivated, because you are so motivated there to start learning the new skill sets. So it's at the beginning people start thinking about it, but then it gets too dense. So there is this moving backwards and forwards, thinking about it emotionally, and then not wanting to think about it because it feels so much more denser. And when you're in such a high frequency vibration, it really dishevels you in some ways, and it is, you know, it's there, you have experienced it, but you sort of put it aside because there's other things that you want to focus on, because those lifetimes really can't be, you can only process it with the bigger perspective then. So it is, you know, it does take some time. Some people are frustrated that they didn't know, so they are giving themselves a hard time about it. So you're learning how to adjust, and be able to put things into place, which can happen very quickly. But then as you're living your life reviews and thinking about your life, you know, there's a lot of adjustments. You've got a lot of new thought processes, and you've got to apply the fifth dimensional mindsets to your 3D experiences. And then you also want to start learning more things about how to master the fifth dimension from the levels that you are at. And so there is many reasons why you need light workers to be able to help and shine and teach you and support you while you are going through this. Eventually you will master things quite quickly and be able to help others. It is a learning, supporting planet. It is beautiful, it is balanced, there is peace and harmony, and there are many that have the same experiences that you can all support and recognize with each other.
It it is amazing how layered the feelings are. I'm driving down the street and I see brown leaves and I want to cry, but I'm even more excited about going to New Earth. But then I get so sad for Gaia. So there are a lot of emotions for sure. And thank you for giving us the excitement of what's going on in New Earth right now.
You're welcome.
My last question is personal. I'm going to use the word premonition. I don't know. It's just a detailed thought about an upcoming earthquake in my area. It didn't seem like it was my imagination running wild. It seemed like a very detailed thought, and I could picture it in my mind. Am I going crazy, or is that a possibility for my area?
That is a possibility for your area. We gave it to you to prepare you emotionally for it, so you could be the stewardess, the support person, and you have a height to your physical body. And so when people are looking around, they see you first. And so when you are with your love and supporting them, it's going to be okay. Come gather, it's going to be okay. And you're going to use your voice. We've activated your voice to be able to say the tone that gives comfort to them, because it's scary, because it sounds scary, it feels scary. So we're saying this is one possibility, but we don't want you to panic about it. We understand that you do want responsibility, so we gave you this. You've been asking, what can I do? How can I help? And you've also been asking, when is the shift and how is the shift? So you do get given the answers very clearly. So we're saying, be careful what you ask for, because we give it to you. We give you those senses. And of course, you don't really want those truths. You don't want to see it. You don't want to feel it. You don't want to have any of this. And we're showing you the dead leaves. We're showing you the dead trees. We're showing you us. We're showing you this because it's just confirmation. You've been so bothered with the disinformation, the mistruths, and you've blindly followed them because you've believed in others. Now we're wanting you to believe in yourself and see what you're noticing.
Yeah. Thank you. It felt significant. I've been thinking about this whole time, and I feel more confident now that I am actually talking to my higher self. I have heard my higher self tell me to calm down. It is purposeful. It did mean something. It is a possibility, but calm down. You got this.
You have a fear that you're manifesting this horrific experience because you believe in this. Often when you've believed in something and it's not true, you get punished by it, by feeling embarrassed about being foolish to believe it. And so now you're thinking, did I just think of this horrible scene? Am I a monster? What is wrong with me? Why would I want to see that destruction? And so you are feeling foolish that you have created this, and you are judging yourself for even having this thought pop into your mind. What kind of sicko does this? My children were there. I must be a terrible mother. Why would I want this fantasy at my child's birthday party with our friends and family? You are judging yourself, thinking that this is what you're trying to create. And that is your true worry, is that you are going crazy and starting to have death wishes for you and your friends.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
We are speeding you up to date because you feel so frustrated you have been left behind with the information. So now we're giving you the bigger truths, and you are seeing it. It's not just because you're hearing this from sessions, you're actually experiencing it yourself. And those are the undeniable parts that you can't shake off because you didn't just hear it in a session, you had the experience of that.
It's surreal is the best word I could use. And pinch me, is this really happening? Yep, all those emotions. So thank you for clearing it up for me. And yeah, I will come to terms with that as a possibility and focus on that.
And it is also purposeful because there is still many distractions for you. And so focusing on your beautiful children who are a gift for you and everyone else who's in your life, make those connections, see their eyes, hug them a little bit longer than you would normally, feel into it, smell them. It's a strange thing to say, but when you're holding them, like inhale them in, appreciate them, have so much gratitude for them because they've been on the journey with you too, and it's not an accident, it's significant.
Okay. I know what you mean.
You have wanted to know the truth because you want this world to be perfect for your children. You want to have justice for your children. You want your children to be safe and empowered and supported because somewhere along the line you did not feel like that your own childhood and your own adulthood, and you want a difference for your children. That has been your motivation to find the truth. And when you found out about the crimes against humanity for the children, it was like, I can't have my children in this world anymore.
No, no. This timeline does not end with, oh, maybe 2024 will be better. No, that's not how this ends. You're right. That's been my motivation the whole time. And I know a lot of people I'll be with on Saturday. I won't see them again in this lifetime. And I'll work on that. And thank you for giving me the time to come to terms with that.
Many people who are oblivious to this shift are not making these profound connections to their loved ones. And this will be something that they will want to correct in their future experiences. And so we're going to say thank you for letting us give you this clarification. And we do not want you to focus on the dates or the events. We want you to focus on the people who are in your life because those are the most important things right now. Your physical connections to those people.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.